evening, everyone. My presentation is about social science theories and its implication to the education. I am Angela and Pejo taking up MAT major in mathematics. In this presentation, you'll learn how sociologists use paradigms to understand the social world. What is paradigm? Paradigm is a broad viewpoint, perspective, or lens that permits social scientists to have a wide range of tools to describe society, and then to build hypotheses and theories. You can also consider paradigms to be guiding principles or belief system. Now let's start with the definition of sociological theory. A sociological theory is a set of ideas that provide an explanation for human society. Sociologists study social events, interactions, and patterns, and they develop a theory in an attempt to explain why things work as they do. A sociological theory seeks to explain social phenomena. Theories can be used to create a testable proposition called a hypothesis about society. Theories vary in scope depending on the scale of issues that they are meant to explain. Macro-level theories relate to the large-scale issues and large group of people, while micro-level theories look at very specific relationship between individuals or small group. Grand theories attempt to explain large-scale relationship and answer fundamental questions such as why societies form and why they change. There are three major sociological theories or perspectives. These are number 1, structural functional theory, number 2, conflict theory, number 3, symbolic interactionism theory. Let's focus first on the structural functional theory, the first theory. It is also called as functionalism, emphasize how various social institutions work together to meet the needs of the society. Sees society as a structure with interrelated parts designed to meet the biological and social needs of an individual in that society. Functionalism grew out of the writings of English philosopher and biologist Herbert Spencer, 1820 to 1903, who saw similarities between society and the human body. He argued that in such various organs of a body work together to keep the body functioning, the various parts of the society work together to keep society functioning. Spencer at 1898. The parts of the society that Spencer referred to were the social institution or patterns or beliefs and humans focus on meeting social needs such as government, education, family, healthcare, religion, and the economy. Emily Durkheim, another early sociologist, applied Spencer theory to explain how societies change and survive over time. Durkheim believed that society is a complex system of interrelated and interdependent parts that work together to maintain stability. Durkheim at 1893. And that society is held together by shared values, languages, and symbols. Durkheim believed that individuals may make up society. But in order to study society, sociologists have to look beyond individual to social facts. Social facts are the laws, morals, values, religious beliefs, customs, fashions, rituals, and all the cultural rules that govern social life. Durkheim at 1895. Each of these social facts serve one or more functions within a society. For example, one function of a society or society's laws may be to protect society from violence, while another is to punish criminal behavior, while another is to preserve public safety. The second sociological theory is the conflict theory. Conflict theory looks at society as competition for limited resources. This perspective is a macro-level approach, most identified with the writings of German philosopher and sociologist Karl Marx at 1818 to 1883, who saw society as being made up of two classes, the bourgeoisie, or the capitalist, and the proletariat, or the worker, who must compete for social, material, and political resources such as food and housing, employment, education, and leisure time. Social institutions like government, education, and religion reflects this competition in their inherent inequalities and help maintain the unequal social structure. German sociology, Max Weber, agree with some of Marx's main ideas, but also believed that in addition to economic inequalities, there were inequalities of political power and social structure that cause conflict. Weber noticed that different groups were affected differently based on education, race, and gender, and that people's reaction to inequality were moderated by class differences and rates of social mobility, as well as the perception about legitimacy of those in power. The third sociological theory is a symbolic interactionism theory. A symbolic interactionism theory is a micro-level theory that focuses on meaning attached to human interaction, both verbal and nonverbal, and symbols. Communication, the exchange of meaning through language and symbols, is believed to be the way which people make sense of their social world. Charles Thornton Cooley introduced the looking glass self at 1902 to describe how person self or self grows out of interactions with others. And he proposed a threefold process for this development. Number one, we see how others react to us. Number two, we interpret the reaction typically as positive or negative. Number three, we develop a sense of self based on those interpretations. Looking glass is an archaic term for a mirror. So Cooley theorized that we see ourselves when we interact with others. We also have a sociological theory's implication to education. Now, let's have the implication of the sociological theories to education. The implication of structural functional theory in education serves several functions for society. These include socialization, social integration, social placement, and social and cultural innovation. Latent functions include child care, the establishment of peer relationship, and lowering unemployment by keeping high school students out of the full-time labor force. Problems in the educational institution harm society because all these functions cannot be completely fulfilled. And the implication of conflict theory education promotes social inequality through the use of tracking and standardized testing and the impact of its hidden curriculum. Schools differ widely in their funding and learning conditions, and this type of inequality leads to learning disparities that reinforce social inequalities. There is the implication of symbolic interactionism theory. Symbolic interactionism theory, this perspective focuses on social interaction in the classroom, on the playground, in other school venues. Specific research finds that social interaction in a school affects the development of gender roles, that teachers' expectation of pupils' intellectual abilities affect how much pupils learn. Certain educational problems have their basis in social interaction and expectations. To sum up the sociological theories or perspective, We have the functional perspective. Education helps socialize children and prepare them for their eventual entrance into the larger society as adults. Number two, the conflict perspective emphasizes that education reinforces inequality in the larger society. Number three, the symbolic interactionism perspective focuses on the social interaction in the classroom, on school playground, and at the other school-related venues. Social interaction contributes to gender role socialization, and teachers' expectation may affect their students' performance. My references are the following. These are all my presentation. Thank you for listening and watching my presentation.